What's up guys, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another video. And today we're gonna take a look at a couple of accessories that some of you may want to get for your new Wooting 80HE. You will see a mix of products that you can get from Wooting's website and some third-party accessories that I was curious about which you may be interested in too. And the first thing that got my attention was the 80HE travel case. By the way, this travel case is included if you order the 80HE with the zinc alloy case option. My 80HE is the pre-built PCR ABS version, so the travel case is additional. And well, the two reasons why I think having this is a great idea is that first, the 80HE is not a cheap keyboard. A Wooting keyboard is one that you keep for a very long time, and if I need to put it aside for whatever reason, the case keeps it perfectly protected. And the second thing is I felt that having a case like this to keep all my accessories and tools in one place is a great idea. The color of the travel case looks great and the quality is fantastic. And you also got big elastic pockets to keep all the loose accessories that you may have. Switch opener, a tub of lube and grease, keycap puller, custom cables. This case is very nice to keep all those little items in one place. Up next, it's not an accessory from Wooting, but it's one that I love so much. Someone on my Twitter said it's easily the best purchase he ever made for keyboards, and I totally agree. It's a 2-in-1 switch and keycap puller from Gateron, and so far it hasn't broken on me. It works very well, and just using this makes swapping out my keycaps and switches so much more efficient. And this isn't just for the 80HE, of course. You can pretty much use this on any keyboard that is hot swappable. Swapping switches is it's something I hate so much. On the 60HE, it's okay because there are not too many switches, but anything bigger than that, it's a pain in the butt. Up next, we have cases for the Wooting 80HE. You got a few cases to choose from between two materials, PCR ABS and zinc alloy. If you feel that sometime later you want to try a different material or look on your 80HE, it would be a good idea to add it in your order to save on shipping. I was very curious about the frost case and I like white, so that is something that I went with. And what surprised me was that it included a white version of the 80HE cable, which looks super good and the quality of the cable is just great. You also get 3 sets of feet to adjust your typing angle, extra screws, and a white version of that keycap and switch puller. And quite honestly, I feel that the price of the ABS case is very reasonable considering the quality that you get and the accessories that it includes. If you don't fancy any of the case options right now, I'd say there's no need to feel like you need to get one. Wait and see what else Wooting adds, because for a keyboard like this, I'm sure they'll keep adding more accessories for you to enjoy. Up next, we have keycaps. The default keycap set that you will have on your 80 or 60HE are the black backlit double shot PBTs. For me, these are great and still are my favorite to use for gaming. But if you're going for the frost ABS case or zinc alloy cases with lighter shades, the white version of these backlit keycaps is something I would recommend to consider. I have my own set of white keycaps from PBT fans, but I find myself swapping back to Wooting's because they feel so much better for gaming, it's a lot grippier and they shine through. Next up is Wooting's Coiled cable set, and they have very nice colors available. I had mine quite some time back before the launch of the 80HE, and they have added more color options since. I like how it's 2 cable styles in one. You can use the straight cable or the coil cable attachment, but for me, I use a straight cable most of the time. But also, it's from Wooting, and you can trust that you're getting a good quality cable that supports a stable analog signal and enough power for the best performance of your 80 or 60HE. Not to say that you can't use other cables, but you know, you don't have to second guess what's gone into the cable if you get one of these. Next is the 80HE wrist rest, and for me, I don't feel the need for it. The keyboard itself isn't very high to me, and you've already got lots of freedom to adjust your keyboard angle with the feet that it comes with. But of course, if you're used to typing with a wrist rest, by all means go for it, especially if you plan to use the 80HE for work. If anything helps to make your experience a bit more comfortable, it sounds pretty worth it to me. And last but not least, we have switches. So I've got the normal Jade, the Jade Pro, and the Jade Max switches that I've been trying out over the past couple of weeks. Gateron Jade switches are the most interesting magnetic switches to me, so I pre-ordered the Jade Pro and Jade Max directly from Gateron, and the normal Jades I received together with my 80HE. The Jade Max switches are a great option if you enjoy RGBs, especially if you have a translucent case. These shine very bright because of the transparent build of the switch. If you always have your keyboard set to 70% brightness because you have Tech-Your mode on, these switches make 70% look like they're on 90% brightness. But at 100%, some of you may find it too glaring, so adjust the brightness to what's comfortable for you. Out of the box, the Jade Max switches are smooth enough for most people, but I did lube my Jade Max switches because they have a very tight tolerance and feel clingy at times, but even after lubing, it didn't do much. You will notice this only if you slowly press down on your key at an angle, and though this is not something that most people will be concerned about, it is something to highlight for anyone who has a habit of controlling their key presses in game. This is something you may experience with switches that have a tighter tolerance, but on the upside, you don't have much stem wobble. Other than that, it's a pretty awesome magnetic switch with a mild clack sound profile, and it just looks awesome if you have an 80HE or any keyboard with a translucent case. Next, we have the Jade Pros, and these feel the smoothest, and how it sounds to me is the closest to the clacking of mahjong tiles, which is how Gateron describes the sound profile of Jade Switches. These have a tight tolerance as well, very little stem wobble. The sound of these Jade Pros compared to the other two is a lot fuller and has a bit of depth to it, and for a clacky magnetic switch, the Jade Pro sounds and feels the best for me. Now, the regular Jade switch you can get from Wooting's website is one that I would only recommend if you want the lightest feeling Jade switch. The sound profile is a much thinner clack compared to the other two. Also, there is a bit more stem wobble and it's a lot louder on the return when it hits the top housing. I wouldn't say that the normal Jades are bad because everyone has their preference and each of these switches stand out in their own way. How I see it is the Jade Max is the best for lighting, the Jade Pros are the best sounding when it comes to clacky switches, and the normal Jade for the lightest typing feel. Now here's a little sound test of the 3 Jade switches on the Wooting 80HE without any mods. And just so you know, the Jade Max switches in the test were recorded before I looped them so that you can have a better idea of what you get. I've also added in my 60HE without any mods because maybe some of you are still on the fence between the 80 and the 60HE. So with how they sound in person, the regular Jade sound thin with a sharper pitch. Jade Pro is a much fuller and cleaner version of that sound profile, and the Jade Max sounds similar to the Jade Pro but more conservative with the clackiness. Now when it comes to recommendations, I'd say choose whichever switch works best for the build that you're going for. For me, after swapping switches more times than any human being should in one lifetime, I decided to have the Jade Pro switches on my 80HE because the 80% is a great layout for typing and the Jade Pro sounds and feels the most interesting to me. And on my 60HE, I now have the Lekker Linear60 V2s. They are the heaviest of all switches mentioned today, but I like how quickly the switches return after a key press for gaming. It feels much snappier to game on for me, and I don't exactly want 2 keyboards with a clacky sound profile if you know what I mean. Of course, at the end of the day, if none of these accessories interest you, I'd recommend saving your money. Just enjoy your 80HE or 60HE as it is and wait for something that really catches your interest, because if not, you'll be stuck with things that you don't use, and that would be a waste. If I have some time, I will probably do a short video on my 60HE build because it is still my favorite keyboard, and for the 80HE, probably not anytime soon because it is a very nice pre-built keyboard experience and I want to enjoy it a bit more as it is before I do anything more to it. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.